So this is Trevor, who's been a member of my Kick the Overthinking Habit group coaching program for the last few months. And Trevor has kindly offered to jump on and share some of his experience. So good morning, Trevor, or good evening for you. Yeah.
Hi Richard, how you going?
Yeah. And thanks for this. So first of all, just tell me a little bit about what was going on in your life when you first started working with me. Like, what were your main issues and how did that impact your life?
Well, I lost my wife about 9 years ago, and we were very close, and uh, that was the the straw that broke the camel's back for me in a way that I lost all direction in my life. I didn't know what to do with it, um, and dealing with the grief of that, and feeling sorry for myself. Uh, I wanted to get away from that if I could. Um,
So what kind of things did you try doing to resolve that at the time?
well, the same sort of thing. I tried to work out the meaning of life and what it's all about, and consumed lots of books, and I enjoyed them and got a lot out of them. Books going back, you know, the Stoics. I was really impressed by Marcus Aurelius and what he had to say, and um, the Bhagavad Gita. I joined a study group, a spiritual philosophy study group, and we read that as a group, and I was comforted with all those things, particularly comforted with the older stuff, the ancient stuff. It made me realize that we haven't changed. People are the same now, basically, as they were then. And it's impressed on me the fact that I am not particularly unique, or we are not unique. So that's given me comfort to realize that my human condition is part of the overall, is the same as pretty much the overall human condition. So that stopped me beating myself up a little bit and feeling sorry for myself. But then I read, as I say, I moved through the the Indian philosophies and the Zen stuff. Really took to the Zen stuff, simple little messages, uh, but powerful. Uh, and I read a lot of inspirational stuff, the Gurdjieffs and the Ralph Waldo Emerson's, and it all kept highlighting to me that the simple message, and that's probably what I'm getting at, is that what I have learned, I suppose, is that life is simple. We don't have to overthink it, and this is through the help of you. I wouldn't have got that just from the books, but um, just it's simple. It's amazingly simple when I realise now, and that just frees up your. It just creates peace because you haven't got all these thoughts going through your head all the time,
So maybe
and
it's a
that's
little bit like learning to ride a bicycle. Like you can read 100 books
mm.
on learning to ride a bicycle, but you actually need to get on the bike to find your
Yeah.
balance.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Well, yeah. As I say, those books are really good, and I treasure a lot of them. Um, the new age guys, some are, not don't impress me much, but the Eckhart Tolles and the usual suspects have got some really insightful and important stuff to say. But whatever they say, they don't really. They just give you the knowledge. They don't. Well, whether they do or I just didn't learn from them what to do with that knowledge, how to deal with it, and that's where what I got from joining your group, how to how to deal with what I've learned, how to
How to apply.
Yeah, how to apply it, how to, and the fact that developing a disconnection with my mind, not absorbing, not being entangled or engaged with my thoughts constantly, has just created so much peaceful space within myself that the wisdom in those books then becomes more obvious. But that wouldn't have been obvious if I hadn't learned from you that to stop thinking.
Right.
I mean,
It's
you
that
know,
simple, isn't it? Stop thinking. It's
it is
simple
that
and it's
simple.
not, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I can remember when I first heard the concept about observe your mind, and I thought that's just nonsensical. And then I thought of an experience. I was driving along one night, and I was thinking about something that happened 20 years previous, something completely insignificant of no importance then or at any time. But I was thinking about it, and then I thought, what am I thinking about this for? And that's when the aha moment that I was observing my mind.
Mhm.
And then from that, I've sort of, again, through your um, instruction and guidance, I've learned to be able to switch off or ignore those thoughts.
Mhm.
Most, and I have mentioned, pardon me, I have mentioned it here before. I mean, many times up until I started this course, I'd get up and have a coffee first thing in the morning, and probably most mornings, my thoughts, the thoughts of my wife had come into my head, and I'd get a little bit melancholy sometimes, and that melancholy feeling might last all day. But since, but
Yeah,
since I've
so
learned,
did you have the habit in the past to run these stories
yeah,
on
that's right.
repeat, like on a loop?
Yeah, that's
And
right.
now you've recognized that that's a choice, really. Yeah, that you can
Yeah.
choose to do that or
Mm.
not to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's right. Well, I mean, I probably still think about most days, but I don't engage with the thoughts. The thoughts just go right on by. I
Hmm.
see them, but I don't, and that's made a big difference to my quality of life, my peace of mind.
Yeah, and
And
you mentioned to me before that this difference between peace with mind and peace of mind. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
because again, you've taught me that there's no such thing as peace of mind because the mind's chaotic by nature,
Hmm.
and it's not just me. Uh, the mind's chaotic by nature. So the only the- what the only thing you can do is be at peace with that chaotic mind, and that's what I've learned to do, and I'm getting better at it on a daily basis.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I often use the expression trying to iron the ocean,
Mm. Yeah.
because a lot of people will spend years and years and years trying to fix the mind, which,
Mm.
I believe is, I'm not saying we can't make small changes, but I think
Mm.
it's a mammoth task, to try and
Mm.
turn all of our non-peaceful thoughts, feelings, and emotions into peaceful ones.
Mm.
But the approach of making peace with whatever arises is something we can apply immediately. It doesn't take time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another important thing that you taught me is about how our minds are conditioned by our parents and our upbringing and schools and siblings and peer groups and all that. So, and I was I was always taught growing up, as probably I think most, particularly men, were young boys. Stand up for yourself. Don't let anyone push you around. Don't let anyone treat you badly. And I lived by that for a long time.
Hmm.
But now I don't take whatever people say. And I've only had, it's not that I get tested every day. But I have had little tests where I don't take it personally,
Hmm.
and that is a big ticket item for me. It's um, you
Yeah,
know,
I mean that's another one of the key factors, isn't it, to experiencing peace
mm,
is to
yeah,
recognize that most of these stories, most of these patterns are just our conditioning playing
mm,
over and over. In a sense, they're
yeah,
not personal.
mm,
And I know for me, for years, one of my main areas of suffering is that I would take them very personally. I would think
mm,
that there's something wrong with me because
mm,
because
mm,
I'm angry or because I'm sad and
yeah,
whereas, when you learn to step back and be the observer, you can just
mm,
let it all be there without judgment, without fighting it, without trying to fix it or change it.
mm, mm.
And yeah, that can very quickly.
Uh, I had an experience of that just last week. I had a doctor's appointment, and I had my car getting serviced, so I had about an hour's walk to the doctor's. And I got there, and the receptionist said, "Oh, the doctor's not in today. Your appointment's been rescheduled for later in the week." So instead of getting upset or anything like that, she said, "Your appointment's scheduled for Friday." And I said, "Okay, what time Friday?" And that's all I said. I didn't have to grit my teeth even to say it. So
uh,
she said, "Oh, well, 1 o'clock on Friday." I said, "Okay." So I left. And I noticed as I was walking home how relaxed I was. I wasn't thinking about, I should have said this, or how dare they treat me like that? Not even a phone call to let me know, that I don't deserve it. None of that stuff went through my head. And I just had a nice, peaceful walk home. And that was a real eureka moment for me. I suppose that's not the word, I suppose, but it's a real. I've never had that. I've never had that experience before. Let's say where I was completely nonplussed about what had happened.
so how do you feel these days compared to how you used to feel?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm comfortable with everything. I'm not. There's things I'm not happy about. I'd like to be good looking and rich and all that, but that does not. I go with the flow now. I don't. I try to do the best I can, but I'm not. I'm more. I'm more. It's more important to me to do the best I can than to achieve any results.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm not. The results are inconsequential in a way. If I try to be the best I can be, the results will look after themselves.
Yeah.
That's
So
the
would you say
thing.
there's more of an acceptance generally
Yeah,
of
yeah,
whatever
that's right.
arises, whether it's things like your doctor's appointment or thoughts
Yeah,
in your head or
mm,
feelings or stories or
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I'm surprised, but a lot of people have mentioned it to me. They've said something. Things like, "Oh, you've changed so much in the last." Even one of the people in the lady that runs one of the philosophy groups I do. She said, "You've grown enormously in the last
Mhm.
little while." So I don't know. I don't know how what they notice from, but it's been commented on, and I do feel. I suppose I'm just feeling more relaxed, and um, I don't feel like I'm not trying to prove myself to anybody anymore. I suppose. Um, yeah, it is what it is, and I don't. It's I just do the best I can, and sometimes that's not good enough, and that's okay.
So I want to ask you a little bit about the kick the overthinking habit group coaching program,
Mm,
where we have our two live group calls per week. Just
yeah.
just your impression of that and whether that's been helpful for you.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I like the idea of sitting in a group discussion with people from other parts of the world, and it's healthy too, because you realise that we are. It just reinforces the idea in my mind that we are not different. People are not different really. They perhaps sometimes we put on a veil, we hide ourselves, our true nature, but it just makes me feel part of the greater whole when I see people from I don't know, I've never met, but are on the same wavelength, or have the same, dealing with the same things in life as I am, and it just reinforces that we're all dealing with the same things.
Yeah, and what do you think of the way the program's laid out, like the modules, for example? So just
Yeah, that's good.
say,
Yeah,
people go through these modules on the program at their own pace, and then bring any questions to the live group calls.
yeah, that's good. I've always been a believer in the best way to learn things is to see it, hear it, and say it. And that's where the modules come in. We have the group discussions, which are really good, but then the modules um, reinforce what we talk about, and also provide food for thought for the upcoming discussions. Uh, yeah, they are very well laid out and very professionally done. I like the concept of it, and um, yeah, they're not. So I was going to say when I breeze through them, that's not quite right. But when I do the carry out the tasks in the modules, and with with relative confidence, that again that um, strengthens my confidence that I'm on the right path, and I'm getting to I'm understanding it.
So what would you say to anyone who's thinking about joining, Trevor?
Um, I think do it. I mean, I can't. I mean, this slowing down my thinking, doing a lot less thinking, or I mean, I'm not doing a lot less thinking. I'm doing the same amount of thinking, but I'm not engaging with the thoughts that I was. And
Mm-hmm.
not engaging with those thoughts is the most important thing that's ever happened to me, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
So, we all deserve to have it. We all want and deserve, I suppose, is the right word, peace in our lives. And I firmly believe through the modules and the course and talking to these other people that the reason we don't have peace in our lives is we think too much. We
Mm-hmm.
think about things that we have absolutely a waste of time thinking about. We judge things, we label things. I don't like the car drives past. That I don't like that colour on that car. I mean, why would we even think about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what we are programmed to think and make decisions and label everything. And once you're able to let that go, the world's your oyster. I really don't care what happens. Pardon me. I'm at the point where I don't care what happens, how my life unfolds. Really now, I know I can deal with it because I'm not going to think about it too much.
Cool.
It is what it is. Whenever something presents itself, good or bad, well, there it is. I'll
Mm-hmm.
deal with it. And the other thing I've learned through this group is when bad things happen, good things come of it. you know, so you're almost welcome. You're welcome to them. Like
Don't
the
steal that one, Trevor.
yeah. So it's
Bad
like
things happen, good things come of it. Yeah.
yeah, and that's true. You get wiser, you get smarter, and whatever. But You learn to appreciate what is good. So bring it on. It's we don't have to be scared of things, and just yeah, but just being calm and peaceful is and not beating myself up is a big thing. But it all comes from, as I said, just learning um, and from you and knowing these other people in the groups are having the same experiences as I am, reinforces that it is all um, what's the word? It's all laid out for us. We're all it's not I'm not on a particular journey. I'm on the same journey as everybody else. So if anyone was thinking about joining this group, I think, oh, it's too hard. I don't understand all the spiritual stuff, airy fairy stuff. I don't understand that. It's there's nothing to understand. You don't have to understand. You just have to be open minded, and the answers will come. And that's the other thing again about having a clear mind. When your mind is clear, the answers appear, don't they? You know what? You can wrestle like Einstein said. I think and I think and I think. I don't find the answers. I stop thinking, rest for a while, and the answer appears.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly the way my experience, and I believe the experience of all the other people in the group. So I think it for quality of life, I couldn't recommend it more highly to anybody to improve their quality of life.
Well, that's really the key, isn't it?
Mm.
Overthinking is the greatest obstacle to happiness, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's it in a nutshell, Richard. I really do.
Mhm.
It sounds funny even to say it, but it is. That's the way it
Not
is.
just happiness, but you know, connection, freedom, fulfillment, all of these things.
Yeah, well, see, again, there's another thing that I've learned through the group. We're all chasing happiness. Well, happiness is on a pendulum. You can't have happiness without unhappiness. So if happy times come along, I'm going to embrace them. If sad times come along, I'll accept them. But what my goals is now is not so much happiness, but peace.
Uh-huh.
And that is attainable on a permanent level, like consistent level, whereas happiness by nature is not it's not attainable on a consistent level. I believe.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. So it's
Mm.
yeah, and one of the biggest lessons I ever learned was that what you said earlier about making peace with the mind.
Yeah.
If I wake up unhappy but I'm at peace with it, then what's the problem?
Mm. Mm. That's right. And
It's
uh,
only when I fight it and I resist it and I try to fix
mm,
it and think there's something wrong with me and all these things that I create unhappiness for myself.
mm. Yeah,
But if
that's
I
right.
can just allow, whatever emotion arises just to be as it is, then there's immediately this peace, whether it's pleasant or not, the experience.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is all our programming, and I think anyone that joins this course will learn how deeply we've been programmed, and all with good intentions from our parents, and mostly good intentions. But once you realise you've been programmed into making judgments on things, and a lot of that's wired into us, from the caveman days. We had to, when we got out and had our first morning yawn and out front of the cave, when we had to, if we saw a saber-toothed tiger sitting there, we had to react pretty quickly. So those things are wired into us. There's hardly any saber-toothed tigers around where I live anymore, so I don't need to worry about that. Yeah, so
Cool.
we don't need to worry. But yeah, I think some people would think, oh, maybe I don't understand it. You don't have to work hard trying to understand it. You only just have to listen and participate, and you will have little moments, little aha moments, like when I thought about that time when I was thinking about that thing that happened 20 years ago. What am I thinking about this for? Little things will happen, and all of a sudden you'll have a you'll get a grip. You'll know that you're heading in the right direction,
Mhm.
and it's I can't think of the right word, but it is it creates a lot of peace within me.
Right.
I mean, I don't care what happens really now.
So that feels like a good spot to leave it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. And thanks very much, Trevor, for sharing your
yeah.
experience.
Good on you, Richard.
Apart from anything else, I feel so happy for you guys, to
Yeah.
but my joy is seeing the peace in that other people can
Hmm.
yeah.